Hello, Cake Salad. So I'm just gonna get right into it because oh my god! I took a video. I made a take for this video that was horrible because I couldn't speak, and it's happening again. So I need to get into this video. So Jess, you were talking about your experience with a drama teacher and how he or she, I can't remember, didn't really like you that much, so you never got cast in anything, and that you feel like this teacher sort of had something against you and that it wasn't anything you could really control. And that got me to thinking about teacher experiences that I had a teacher, yep, I had a teacher, I had a teacher, and her name was Miss Grissom. She was my freshman math teacher in high school, and they ended up firing her because she failed over like 78% of her students. Kids that got things wrong, like if they gave the wrong answer in class, she would often make them like go up to the board. So, like, she just wanted them to look stupid in front of the class. They would do their work and have the wrong answer, and then she'd just basically be like, no, that's wrong. Do it again. And she'd keep doing that. She wouldn't try to help them. She wouldn't try to reteach it. She'd make them do it until they somehow magically got the answer right. And that sometimes took 15 to 30 minutes of a class period, just making one student feel stupid and humiliated. Pretty glad they got rid of her. And then I have another name down. It's Mr. Netherton, who was my marching band / concert band teacher. Mr. Netherton is a great guy. He has a lot of great opinions. He's intelligent. He plays his instruments well. He teaches well. But he's also kind of stuck in a very old-fashioned mindset where, you know, he believes marriage is between one man and one woman, blah, 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 whatever. That's not what I'm upset about. What I'm upset about with him is when we were in school, there was a guy in the band, his name was Richard. He wanted to be in the color guard, which is basically where they twirl around the pretty flags and do flag routines with the marching band. And Mr. Netherton told him that he was not allowed because he was a male and that males don't look good in a color guard, which is completely fucked up. So I have to say that, you know, he had this very like closed-minded opinion about everything that really held back the band a lot, because if he didn't like one idea or something, he just completely shut it out, wouldn't think about it ever again. It was no, not even a possibility. And people who aren't willing to compromise or meet the needs of their students, they bother me. And then he started talking a little bit about Jared's mom putting that book on his bedside table, the Jesus book or whatever it was. I don't know. I don't remember. I just remember thinking it was ridiculous, but whatever. He started talking about kind of religion and Harry Potter and witchcraft and blah, 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 blah. So, my friend Rachel, I'm sure you've all seen her on my channel during Vita at one point. Of course, she is a lesbian, but that's not what I'm talking about right now. Rachel's mom, her whole family really, they're all very religious. Rachel's mom had never seen any of the Harry Potter movies until this year, and Rachel had practically never seen them either until a few years ago. One day Rachel was picking out the movie because they have this movie night thing where they all sit around, they watch a movie, they hang out, they have a family thing, which is really cool. And Rachel's like, let me pick the movie tonight, and very sneakily she put in Harry Potter, and her mom wasn't aware of it at first, but once the movie started playing, her mom was like, fine, and she watched it, and she actually loved them. They binge watched all of them, and that was amazing to me. And that got me to thinking a little bit about Halloween and how a lot of Halloween things I experienced as a kid weren't the same for other people. I didn't grow up in a particularly religious household, but Rachel had never trick-or-treated in her entire life until last year. Last year was the first year she ever trick-or-treated. Mind you, she's a year older than me. She's 22 now. It's the first time she's ever gone trick-or-treating, because when she was a kid, her mother believed that Halloween was the devil's holiday, whatever, and instead of taking them trick-or-treating, took them to a church event that was churchy. So that really bothers me when parents want to take away this sort of fun, awesome tradition that children can go through just because of their religion. Just in general, parents impressing their religion upon their children, I feel like that's kind of a not needed thing. Let your kid find their own religion if they want to find religion. That's just my opinion. With this whole Confederate flag debate and gay marriage debate and everything we've been talking about for the past week, I'm just sort of over religion right now, so let's just move on. I can't talk today. Jared, you said that you worked 5 days in a row, which, you know, you said you might just be a complainy teenager, because you're sure all of us have done that. I worked 16 to 18 hour shifts every single day for 2 months last year, and it was awful. And even on my days off from one job, I had to work at the other place, so I never had a day off. For 2 months straight, no days off, okay? And most of those days, 5 days a week, it was 16 to 18 hour shifts. So just be thankful you don't have to do that. I did get a lot of money for it, but it's sad to think that some people make as much money as I did working 2 full-time jobs, working a part-time job. And that's life. And that's the way things will work. You'll work your ass off and get very little in return for it. But the feeling of working and accomplishing, that is amazing. That I can say. And you mentioned religion. All I have written down on my paper is religion, ... sigh. Like, you know, sigh. So I'm over it. So I'm gonna keep on keeping on. Sarah. I don't know why I just did that. Anyway, my room is super messy and I don't want to be in it, so I can relate to that. In fact, the rest of the house is really messy and I don't want to go into it because, you know, it's not just me living in this house. I just gotta say that. And I clean my portion and keep my stuff clean, so I'm just gonna stay in here and leave the rest to them because that's their thing. And you mentioned several times in your video that you became sort of overwhelmed by schoolwork at this point and overwhelmed by schoolwork at this point and overwhelmed by schoolwork at this point. And it's not doing very good things for me because I'm going to start school in the fall and I have this fear of becoming overwhelmed and I feel like I might. So thanks. It's really cool that you got to go on that trip though. I could never. I can barely make it like 8 hours in a car when I'm going from Tennessee to Michigan, so. Oh, God. And on that note, I'm gonna wrap this video up because I haven't really contributed too much to this conversation. What's your favorite breakfast food? Yep.